What's coming up? Let's look ahead to special events in the area. You're watching TVC, Travers Visitors Channel.
Experience the great outdoors and embrace Mother Nature by exploring our area's many incredible natural preserves. open to the public year-round, free of charge. Many of these inspirational retreats feature protected, managed marked trails that offer adventure, exercise, and escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Learn details on these natural wonderlands at the Conservancy's websites for the best spots to hike, bike, birdwatch, canoe or kayak, cross-country ski or snowshoe, swim, fish, or even hunt. Both of our local groups, the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy and the Leelanau Conservancy, schedule guided special events in all seasons showcasing the unique features, flora, and fauna of these places, many of which have been donated to preserve our forest, farmlands, dunes, and other natural landscapes far into the future for family, friends, and you, our welcome visitors.
At the tip of Michigan's Little Finger, known as the Leelanau Peninsula, you'll find one of the Great Lakes' oldest lighthouses, guarding the entrance to the Manitou Passage and the Grand Traverse Bay. Standing on its present site since 1858, the Grand Traverse Lighthouse, recognized both as a Michigan and National Historic Site, is now open to the public as a museum, 7 days a week through Labor Day. And no one is more of an authority than the keeper, who more than a half-century ago actually grew up there.
I came to this lighthouse in 1922 when I was 9 years old, and I stayed until 1935, and then I went into the Coast Guard.
How does it feel to be back at his boyhood home?
It's wonderful being back here. It's my old home, and it's wonderful to see the people that come to, and I can tell them about it and talk to them.
Doug's dad created much of the ornate stonework on the grounds.
This furniture here belonged to my mother. This is a 1910 dining room table. Most of the dishes you see in the cupboard there belong to her. My sister turned them over to the lighthouse. This organ was given to my mother by my father in 1899 at the turn of the century when they got married over on Beaver Island. This organ has been on Green Island, Poverty Island, Beaver Island, South Fox Island, and over here at Grand Traverse Point. This old dog you see is name was Sport. It's dressed in the uniform. He lived in this lighthouse with the family, and when he died over in Manistee, Michigan, they put a uniform on him, my father's uniform on him, and buried him.
Doug remembers well, working on the now retired lens.
When I first came here, it was a kerosene IOV, which means incandescent oil vapor. You had to heat it up with alcohol, the vaporizer, and run your kerosene and air through that hot spot, and it would create a vapor and go into the mantle just like an old gasoline lantern.
Kudos for preservation and staffing go to the Grand Traverse Lighthouse Foundation volunteers. Invite your visit and encourage your support.
A popular pursuit here in the great natural retreat we call the Grand Traverse region is birdwatching, featuring over 200 diverse species of our fine-feathered friends, from colorful finches to nocturnal noisemakers and our national symbol. Some are rarer than others, while others are outright endangered.
Let us look at them as long as we wanted. That was just the most exciting thing. The short-eared owl is a Michigan threatened species, or Michigan endangered species, I guess. And to have it land on our property and use our property to hunt was just very exciting.
Our area offers a wide variety of habitats and ecosystems to explore.
Particularly, there's some great spots for birding that are open to the public for you to enjoy. One spot in Benzie County is the Upper Herring Lake Preserve, which features a beautiful wetland area and a boardwalk, ponds, and just a diversity of birds, particularly those that enjoy wetlands. The Georgianata Refuge Preserve right here in Traverse City off 3 Mile Road, just on the back side of the Tark Trail behind Traverse City State Park, is an excellent spot close to town to hike the trail and see a number of bird species, warblers and goldfinches, you name it, they're out there in the forest. And finally, the Skigmog Wildlife Area over between Kalkaska and Antrim County is a terrific spot with 7 miles of shoreline. Bald eagles roosting, loons can be heard off in the distance, and a great boardwalk and platform to view wildlife.
Lots of other birds that we can see here, not always common. The least bittern is one that I know excites lots of other birders, that you can actually see them, find them if you work hard at it here in Northwest Michigan. Great spot. We get to hear sandhill cranes flying overhead many different times during the warm season, but especially the spring and the fall migration. Lots of raptors, lots of hawks migrating up the shoreline in the spring. We get more in the fall, but the spring migration's the really big time. So great opportunity and lots of things. We've got a birding festival in Leelanau County every spring, May into June. We have a year-round birding trail, the Sleeping Bear Birding Trail, sleepingbearbirdingtrail.org, in fact. And it's a year-round itinerary of 35 recommended birding locations all along M22, which is a state highway, a heritage route, 123 miles long from Manistee to Traverse City, and a fantastic place for birding in all kinds of locales. For specific details on all of the different kinds of birds, the species that you can see in this area, I think a really good source is the brand new website, www.sleepingbearbirdingtrail.org. With an incredible diversity of avian habitat and species, the Grand Traverse region is the place to be for those with a passion for the great outdoors and an appreciation of our many fine-feathered friends.
You're watching Travers Visitors Channel.
At the History Center of Traverse City this summer through Labor Day weekend, one of America's iconic toys is on display. Unbelievable renderings of some of this country's most recognizable structures, such as the Statue of Liberty and the White House. And from this state, visitors will recognize the Mackinac Bridge and Traverse City's State Hospital. Everything made of Legos, with a decided wow factor.
When folks walk through the door and they see Lady Liberty and the 15-foot Detroit One Center, there's just an awe, a wow effect, if you will.
This exhibit is for the whole family, right down to building your own Lego creation.
We all grew up with Lego, and we all still appreciate it. It's an art form that we can work with. And the parents and grandparents are working with the kids building cars and models, and then on the table back there they all get to show their works of art.
The Building Blocks of America shows off the incredible work of Dan Parker, a nationally known Lego artist who just so happens to be one of the few Lego masters.
Yeah, Dan Parker, the Lego master from Seattle, he's known for his detail. A lot of Lego artists are doing computer modeling, and some of the micro detail on some of Dan's sculptures are really impressive.
Everything is Lego and nothing but Lego, and that translates into a lot of Legos. The Building Blocks of America at the History Center of Traverse City, now through Labor Day, every day of the week.
Hello, Jimmy John's?
Jimmy John's here.
What took you so long?
Jimmy John's, freaky fast delivery.
I love a man in uniform.
You're looking at a unique gemstone called the Lake Superior agate. Rare but findable here in the Grand Traverse region, these well-traveled treasures were created in ancient upstate volcanoes and carried down to our shores and below.
Lake Superior agates go back in geology. You have to go back to the days of when the lava was flowing, and the lava had gas bubbles in it. And when the lava solidified, these gas bubbles were captured. And then through time, no one knows how long, could be millions of years, these agates began to form. The silicon dioxide is creeping through the ground, and when it comes to these little gas pockets, it would start leaving a layer of the quartz, which is silicon dioxide. And depending on what minerals it went through, it determined the colors. If it was going through iron, it would be reddish. If it was going through manganese, it would be bluish. And that's just a couple of the colors. I don't know the others. But as time went on, and the lava is decomposing, and like up on Lake Superior where the waves are beating on it, and finally the erosion has taken place where the agate is freed, and that's how we find them on the beaches. The range, you can find them all the way from Lake Superior all the way down the Mississippi River where the glacier took them.
You can find Lake Superior agates anywhere along Lake Michigan, especially the further north you get, the better off you'll be. And probably you can find several a day here. Probably if you go to Lake Superior, you will probably not find them any more than that because those up there have so many people looking for them. Any beach where there are stones, you're likely to find Lake Superior agates. Banding, kind of a reddish white striped appearance, translucent stone, the light will shine through a little bit. Where you find granite, you should be able to find Lake Superior agates. Not commonly, but occasionally.
You can find Lake Superior agates in several of our local rock shops, where in addition to our state rock, the Petoskey Stone, you might see extreme rarities like our state gem, the Michigan Greenstone, or another volcanic creation, Thompsonite. Look closely on our shores, for scattered in the rocks lies a treasure trove of fossil records and mineral history.
In 1883, Green Lake Township, in which Interlaken is located, was organized. Lumbermen flocked to the area for the abundant towering white pine timber, much of which was used to help rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire. Many traveled by rail, and at the intersection of the two railroads was an interlocking switch. Accordingly, the nearby town was called Interlaken. The other main transportation was steamships or tugs which cruised the nearby Betsy River, Duck Lake, and Green Lake. In the early days, local folks met at the town watering pump. Children walked to the Little Red Schoolhouse, and many of their parents worked at the nearby Wiley Cooperage Mill, making barrels, In 1927, the musical missionary Dr. Joe Maddie sought a permanent home for his dream of a full-size symphony orchestra composed entirely of school children. His creation, the National High School Orchestra Camp, was to make the little town world famous. Music greats like John Philip Sousa and Howard Hanson played homage to the camp, and before long its students were in great demand at world fairs and leading concert halls across the nation. In 1962, a year-round private fine arts boarding high school was established, fulfilling Dr. Joe Maddie's dream. There has been many world-famous artists that have graduated from this prestigious institution. Today's visitors to Interlaken can still see some of the original growth white pines over 400 years old at the nearby state park. Still standing on the Interlaken campus are the old Interlaken Hotel, the Interlaken Bowl, and the Little Red Schoolhouse. To learn more about the history of Interlaken and the surrounding towns, pick up a copy of the new publication, An Oral History of the Interlaken Area.
You're watching Travers Visitors Channel.
Just south of Traverse City, about 15 minutes, at the northern edge of Wexford County, is the Southside Hideout, home to the Southside Festival Grounds, which is fast becoming the premier outdoor entertainment venue in northern Michigan.
For those of you that aren't familiar with Southside Festival Grounds, it's the brand new 8,000 capacity venue just 12 minutes south of Traverse City. If you want the real concert experience, you gotta come here.
This summer's lineup at the festival grounds ranges from country to heavy rock music. The Southside Hideout in Buckley is easy to find. Take M37 south of Traverse City for about 15 miles. For more information, visit their website at southsidehideout.com.
Hello, Jimmy Johns?
Jimmy John's here.
What took you so long?
Jimmy John, freaky fast delivery.
I love a man in uniform.
Michael Sinsick loves creating scenic watercolors, and he truly possesses an artist's sensitivity because he paints not by sight, but with a colorful memory and a delicate touch. You see, Mike cannot see. He became legally blind at the young age of 13 when he was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
I've gotten accused of faking it, especially when they see my eyes moving and then they see my artwork and they're like, blind guy can't do that.
As a teenager, Mike loved to draw cartoons, but after a life-saving operation, he embraced watercolors.
I had wanted to do some art for therapy, and I thought watercolors would be something I could feel, you know, the wetness of the paper and drying, and so I just kind of started playing around with it and started liking and enjoying doing it, and kind of started creating my own techniques from there.
And with the help of family and friends, matured into an accomplished artist now represented in over 30 galleries in the U.S. and Canada. Closer to home, Mike was commissioned to create an original for legendary Red Wings captain Steve Yzerman and was featured on the cover of the State of the Great Lakes annual report. But how does he do it? First, Mike uses a variety of items to define and mask off areas that he then colors. Once dried, the paint provides a texture that he can feel and work around to create the scene in his head.
I mainly paint my inspirations from scenes that I remember from when I was younger. Some are scenes that have just moved me, and the feeling of being right there.
In addition to watercolors, Mike also enjoys a go-around on the potter's wheel.
Some friends were telling me that I would enjoy doing sculpting and the tactual part of feeling, and so I got into doing that, and I love it.
In the fall of 2000, he established his company, Michael's Unique Visions. A local yokel, Mike lives in nearby Williamsburg and displays his work at many area locations. He also provides his art insights and discusses his personal accomplishments.
I share my artwork and my story. I think it's important for kids to experience art and maybe use that as their outlet of something that makes them feel good.
In addition to giclée prints, affordable note cards, and even magnets are available locally, all featuring Mike Sinsik's special touch. We're here at the History Center of Traverse City, located in the Carnegie Library on 6th Street, overlooking the beautiful Boardman River. This building was home to the Traverse City Library from 1905 to 1998, when they moved to their current location on Woodmere. Since this building was available and the space was much larger than their previous location at the Con Foster Museum, they moved here to consolidate their archives, store historical materials, and expand their exhibit space. Let's go inside. We're here with Museum Director Bill Kennis to tell us a little bit more about the History Center.
Behind me are the 19th century leaders of the Ottawa tribe. We are probably the #1 cultural destination in Traverse City. We had over 60,000 visitors last year. Well, we're featuring the legends of the Grand Traverse region, which tell the stories of the folks that made the difference in our community, whether they were a railroad legend or a lumberman. You know, Traverse City is primarily a railroad and a lumber town.
Bill, what's the most popular attraction at the History Center?
The cherry pits are clearly the most popular. You know, we have over 60,000 visitors that come to the History Center, and they can climb into literally a ton of cherry pits, 2,000 pounds, and they excavate, and they find arrowheads, Petoskey stones, copper ingots, all Michigan items, and they get to keep one of these as a souvenir. In the summertime, we feature our Lego festival called the Lego Carnival. The Lego Carnival features the building blocks of America. So this year we'll have the Statue of Liberty and the Mackinac Bridge. We have a close relationship with the Ottawa Indians out of Shabbytown, and they have loaned us a 25-foot birch bark canoe that's just sensational. It actually sailed in the Grand Traverse Bay, and we have hundreds of arrowheads and tools from the Anishinaabe. We also have canoes that are at least 200 years old, and they were carved out of logs. So there's lots of items that they can see from our heritage. Magical History Tour began last summer. It's a 90-minute, 9-mile tour around the city. And you'll hear stories about our former mayor, Wild Bill Germain, who actually shot a brother-in-law. You'll hear stories of the State Hospital and of the Grand Traverse Bay. So we take you through the business section of town and through the historic districts of our city. This bell is from the Manistee and Northeastern Railroad engine, number 18. It was the last one built, and our guests are able to ring the bell. Our archives department attracts the historians that are doing research, about 300 researchers a year. They're publishing books or doing their family genealogy. It was the only car company located in Traverse City. They manufactured cars and trucks, and the kids can learn about the Napoleon car and do a little photo op. For 100 years, this is the Carnegie Library, and it was adults only for adult research, and now we tell everyone it's for kids only, and they seem to like that. The Children's Cupola features trains, logging, and fur trapping and trading, so our younger visitors can appreciate our heritage and participate in these hands-on activities in the Children's Cupola. The charge for the museum is $5 for adults and children, and with that, they get to keep an item as a souvenir.
Happy 150th birthday, Leelanau County. Watch Travers Visitors Channel on Charter Main Street at 8 a.m. and at 8 p.m.